Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Kraken's Lair Comics. My name is Daniel, and we're going to be showing some comic books in just a second. Stay tuned. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to I think I'm like 88 subscribers. You all are awesome. I appreciate anyone that watches my janky little channel. Okay. This is what's on my head. Thinking about when you sell comic books from your collection, it can be, well, it's emotional. It really is. It's emotional. We're like, oh, this piece of my collection, I'm letting it go. Regardless of the reason, where you're like, oh, I need money, I need to pay a bill, or you've been collecting comic books for 65 years and now you're like, I got this room full of long boxes of comic books. I need to let them go. There's all kinds of reasons like why people sell comic books. And honestly, I my personal opinion is at some point you need to sell them. It's not he who dies with the most comic books wins. Unless you want to set up like a comic book museum, where your relatives can like sell tickets to come in and go like, oh, look, he's got 5 copies of Amazing Fantasy 15, or he's got 10 copies of Spider-Man 129 or Hulk 181. I mean, once you're dead and gone, you're dead and gone. So, I don't know, like, do you want to hold on to your comic books until the grave? You can. It's your collection. Do with it what you want. Now, I have sold some comic books. If you go back and look at, my older videos, I had some medical things I needed to take care of. Currently, I'm building a new front porch deck, which was like $7,000. So that's a lot of money. So I sold some comic books. This got me thinking about where I saw threads on comic book channels where like somebody's like, oh, I bought Conan #1 for $10 back in the day, and I sold it for X amount of dollars, and I'll just never have it again. It's difficult to navigate emotionally to where if you, as an example, I was at a flea market and I found X-Men 94. After Giant Size X-Men 1, the first new X-Men in the title, for $40. I spent $50 to have it pressed, dry cleaned, graded by PGX. So that puts me like $90 in. I sold it for $600. So that's a $500 win for Dan the Kraken, man. But now if I think about like reacquiring it close to the same grade, I'm going to be very close to having to spend that $500, right? And so there's like a resistance, like, well, dude, I bought this for $40 and like, blah, 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 blah. If you're buying comic books for speculation or to make money, that's built into the process. So $40, sold it for a lot more. If now I buy it for 500 and down the road, 2 years or whatever, I can sell it for more. It doesn't matter that I spent more this time because it's still making me money. And like I said, it is emotionally difficult for me personally to let books go. Hold on, my throat's dry. Now, I will say right now, I'm seeing a little bit of a dip in the market. So there's some books that I sold when the market was higher that now I can reacquire for less expensive. Seeing where it's going, it puts me in a very good position to be like, okay, cool. I remember seeing Fallout 4, first Miles Morales. Like, I mean, it was like $900, $1,000, $1,200, like up and up and up. I found a copy for $400 and sold it, doubled my money. But now it's same condition. It is back very close to what I spend for it. This doesn't make me panic because I do know Miles Morales will eventually show up in some sort of live action something and it'll blow up. So to revisit it and go, oh, $400 or $500, it's going to appreciate. So I'm going to show some books that are all books that I have sold at one point and now have back. Janky little channel. Marvel Superheroes 13. Carol Danvers. I'm going to turn on some lights. I'm going to press pause. All right, we're back. I don't know if I want to just like keep going through the same information where, I bought this book, I sold it, I made money, I rebought this book. I'm pretty sure at some point I might sell this and make money. This was like sort of like seller's remorse. Werewolf by Night #1. Like, I mean, mine was like really super, super clean. It's got some issues, but you know what? It's back in the collection, and I'm sure at some point I will be able to make a profit on this. How many people lost their ass on this? The Eternals #1. The movie really sucked. I saw like a graded one of these for like, it was like graded like 9.0, like going for $64. And I'm like, dude, the guy probably spent $50 just to have it like, shipped and graded. But I got this for free as a bonus comic from Chris at the We Love Comics channel. I bought this a few years before from my local comic shop for, I want to say $14. This saw a big spike. Yeah, I bought it before any movie announcement. I sold it In the lull, I repurchased this. I think maybe Ms. Marvel might come back. I had this. I sold it. I found a better copy for less than what I paid for mine. And now with the Wakanda Forever movie, this is a hotter book. That's awesome. I sold this. Conan 23, Red Sonja. Made a really. I bought this one a long time ago just because I like Conan. The fact that like Red Sonja is first appearance in here, I didn't even care. I just bought it because I wanted to complete the Conan run. Sold it, and I got a Christmas bonus at work, and so I repurchased this. This is my third copy of this book. I keep buying it and selling it for more money than I bought it for. I guess, Adam Warlock's coming. That's why I just keep buying this book, because I keep making money on it. So awesome. Anybody who watches my channel, I had this graded. I think it came back at 4 or 5. And I sold it and I immediately regretted it. I was like, I love this. I think this is is better than the 4.5. And I'm going to have this graded. Once again, what I paid for my original copy, what I sold it for, getting this back in the collection, I'm going to do very well. I had sold this one. First appearance of Hawkeye. I bought this graded because I had spent the money on mine to have it graded. Mine was a 4.0, but honestly, I think this one looks a little bit nicer. I really do. I sold this one. First appearance of Kitty Pryde. I was at a Comic Con at the Marriott, and for $40, I bought this Swamp Thing #1, Man Thing #1, and this like cool Spider-Man comic book. So I spent $13.50 on this. And I think it was like an 8.0, and I sold it and I made a decent amount of money. Once again, with my Christmas bonus, I bought this graded. Glad to have it back in the collection. This is my second copy of this. My first was a 7.0 that I spent $350 on and sold it for $2,000. That's a win. I think I got this for $550. It's restored. There's a color touch on the cover. A 4.5. But when Silver Surfer shows up in the movies, I'm sure I can sell this for more than I spent on it. Black Panther 1. Sold a copy of this. Bought this graded for less than what I sold my original copy for that was ungraded. The same story is true for this. Got this at auction. We love comics. I bought my first copy at MegaCon in Florida about 6 years ago. Sold it. Made way more money than I spent for it. Bought this graded copy for less than what I had sold mine for. I didn't have mine graded I think it was probably at least a 7.5, but I have this back. It is graded, so I'm confident eventually I will sell this and make a profit. First appearance of Carnage. I bought this at the same convention a couple of years ago for $80 at an 8.5. I sold it to a friend of mine for $150. I bought this for $100, graded CGC. So, once again, I'm pretty sure eventually I'll, I could sell it now and make a little bit, but I'm sure Carnage 15 years from now, all the millennials watching that movie, I will be very happy to own this 9.0. I know that was wrenching, peeper. So, like I said, the point of this entire video, if you sell a comic book and you have to, well, you don't have to. If you want to repurchase it, even if you spent more money on reacquiring it than you did your original copy, you have to look at where the value of this book is going. So you can't just be like, oh man, I bought this for $1 and I sold it for $100, but now if I have to rebuy it, it's going to cost me $100 or $120. What's it going to cost 3 years from now? What's it going to cost 5 years from now? And that's where your thinking needs to be. You can't just lament, oh no, I'll never get this again for $10. No, you won't. You will never ever get it again for $10. I've been looking at Daredevil #1 for years. And there was a time where I could have gotten a decent copy, $3.5 for $600. Those days are long gone. I had other stuff on my radar. That's when I was purchasing other books. But to never get Daredevil #1 because I'm waiting for it to go back to a $500 or $600 value ain't going to happen. I believe that it still has lots of legs to grow. So even if I have to spend $1,800 to get it, it's not going to get any cheaper than that. So, like, me watching my own video 5 years from now, it'd be like, oh, dude, why did you get it for $1,800? Because now it's $3,400, $3,600. Raw. If you're getting comic books for speculation, sometimes you got to spend the money. But do it wisely on books that are going to appreciate. Because even where I've seen like a dip in the market, it's not like, Fantastic Four #48, I bought it for $700. At one point, it was like $8,000. It's down a little bit below $5,000, but $700 to like $4,800, that's good. Silver Surfer, once again, Fantastic Four movie shows up, it might jump up. Well, it will jump up. Will it get to that $8,000 COVID? Everybody's got money and investing in collectibles might take a while, but that doesn't matter. My $700 investment on that book is safe and secure. And when I sell it for whatever, you know, 5,000, 6,000, that's a win. So I've rambled on long enough. I'm past the 20-minute mark. My point, once again, is like, it is difficult to sell comic books from your collection, from my collection. It's even more difficult to like try to like want to get some of those books back because you're having to purchase them for probably way more than what you originally got your OG copy of. However, if you're investing wisely, even the money that you're spending now is going to make you money in the long run. Okay, that's Krakens Lairs Comics. Dan the Kraken Man, my 88 wonderful subscribers. I love you guys. If you want to like share my janky little channel to any of your friends, that would be awesome. Happy holidays, everybody. Enjoy comics. Enjoy comic book collecting.